Copy that. That. There we go. Chat's now working.
Check, check. Mic 1.
Mic 2.
Check. Mic 3.
Mic me.
How's everything sounding right now, Kami'site?
I can pop in and do a little listen as well.
Well, I hadn't muted it yet, and I heard the echo, so I think it's working all right.
So, Mithra, how you holding up during extended maintenance?
Honestly, not bad. It's more been a matter of I started getting back into it just like the week before, and so it's now like, what am I gonna do? I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I gotta get a phone call.
Yeah.
All right, moving my microphone a little closer. How's that sound, Kami?
Lunasaur's very low.
Shouldn't care what Kami thinks.
We definitely care what Kami thinks, as he's the only outside body who can tell us. All right, I've turned Lunasaur back up.
All right, we shouldn't believe what Kami thinks.
Is this gonna blow out my ear now?
Let's find out. Only one way to test it. To be fair, I'm also not talking super loud.
Well, now I sound, I don't know, maybe too loud, but
everyone not
Mithral's
splice is
super
really
quiet
low.
in comparison now.
That's fine. I can move myself lower. That's easier. All right. Breakfast. Say a full sentence.
Rubber bubby baby bunkers.
Perfect. Lunasaur.
It's a Mega Man go time.
All right. Mithril.
Intro, de facto, pardesco, sentenzo.
Okay, I think I need to pull you up a little bit. That should be good. Do another one.
Do another one. I used up all my creativity on that first one.
Okay, that's better. And then, is Baggins back?
Awful sentence.
I need a full sentence.
Awful sentence.
That's not a full sentence.
You said say awful sentence. I said awful sentence.
No, I said a full sentence and you know it.
Awful sentence. That's what I said.
I can't deal with you right now. Baggins is muffled but good.
I'm muffled?
That's what Kami'site says.
Better than being muzzled.
Or wuzzled. All right, I think we are ready to go. So I am going to get us started. Let me start recording. I hadn't played most of the Mega Man catalog back when I got the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. So when I got to Mega Man 8, I didn't know what I was in for. And when I got to Clown Man's stage, I didn't like the stage's aesthetic. I didn't like the music, and I didn't like all the boxes where you're bouncing around. But most of all, I didn't like Clown Man. I didn't like Clown Man's design specifically because Clown Man has these really, really long arms that I don't like. The Clown Man does all this weird pointing that is, frankly, just a little bit uncomfortable if you ask me. And most importantly, I don't like Clown Man's voice. And when you kill Clown Man says, "I'll see you in my dreams." I don't understand what that means. All I know is I don't like it. This is episode 18 of I Think We Overleveled podcast, and we're talking about Robot Masters, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I don't like how Clanman tries to grab you from below. That's just inappropriate. All right.
This isn't a joking matter.
Exactly. Plus, it's
Everything
just like,
is a joking matter to him.
the idea of Clown Man is just stupid. Just a dumb thing.
Who's ever looked at a clown and said, "Boy, I wish that thing never got tired"?
It's just robots wouldn't have chlorophobia, so it doesn't even make sense to make one based on a clown. All I know is I don't like it. Anyway,
To me, all nightmare clowns just have the voice of Ed Wynn, and it's just a horrifying, terrifying thing.
See all the robots that was supposed to be a tour guide?
I was trying to think of my least favorite, and Clown Man was mine too. But yeah, you've already started off there.
Yeah, I do not like Clown Man.
Yeah.
There are some weird... Now, there's great Robot Masters too. Now, the reason for this topic is very specific. We have an expert here. His name is Breakfast.
Clown Man isn't even my least favorite of that game.
Yeah, he doesn't disturb you the way he disturbed me.
No, clearly he doesn't. No, Aquaman is the one that...
Plus, I don't know how they got away with that. There's some real...
All he can do is
rights
talk to
issues.
Fish, so...
that Aquaman.
Clown Man's worse than Aquaman. And Aquaman has better music too, so and a better
Aquaman
stage.
shoots his water gun at you.
So
I mean, yeah.
let's start there. What makes a good Robot Master? We have stage, we have music, we have the boss fight itself. Like, one of the reasons some Robot Master, and then obviously the weapon, like,
And the design of the masters.
yeah, just
as
the
well.
aesthetic, yeah. But so like Toadman, I don't like just because his fight is so stupid easy. Like, it's brain dead boss fight. You just hold your charge, you shoot him, he does a little dance and then jumps again, and you can just cycle him.
No. You've got the order wrong. You have to wait for him to start doing the dance, then you shoot him, then he jumps while you charge, and repeat. If he does the dance after you shoot him, then you will get rain flushed.
Okay, yeah, but the point is, you can just infinite.
It was
him.
the only way they could do that, though. Okay, there was another way they could have given him a second attack, but
because they don't give Quick Man the ability to freeze you and just murder you.
They decided. Well, no, he doesn't freeze you. He just has an entire full screen, all encompassing attack that you literally cannot dodge.
Yeah, but he does other stuff too.
Well, Toadman doesn't. He jumps at you,
And that's my point.
Shoots the rain flood.
And
That's
so
why I was saying they should have given him a second attack, because if they give a Robot Master a singular attack that you literally cannot dodge, then the only possible way that they could make it feasible to defeat him. I mean, technically, even if he did get away with the rain flush, you could probably just power through because he fires it off so infrequently. You just kept shooting at him, you'd probably kill him before he killed you. But most players don't play like that, so they had to give you a way to interrupt the attack. And when you give a way to interrupt the attack, you literally lock him out of attacking at all, because it's that easy to do. You don't even have to charge it. You can just shoot him with a pellet while he's doing his belly dancer, and it'll interrupt him.
yeah, he's disappointing is the point.
Thank you for giving me the image of Toadman as a belly dancer.
Is he wrong?
I mean, it's supposed to be a rain dance, but it's literally what he does. He raises his hands and does the belly jiggle.
It's like it's not our fault that that's literally accurate. But no, anyway, it's just one of those things where certain bosses just really get the short end of the stick with both their design and their stage. And now his weapon's great. I love having it. But you know, it sucks for him that he's not allowed to use it, basically. But there's some, I don't know, as they get some weird ones. Now there's great ones too. So I don't want this just to be a hate list. So let's start off just with some of our favorites. Breakfast, why don't you get us started?
Design wise, fight wise, or
However, it's everything.
I mean, I don't really have an overall. I mean,
Yeah,
one
I
of my
didn't ask for
early
an overall
favorites
favorites, just
was-
when you like.
one of my early favorites was probably Shadow Man. His theme song stuck in my head while I was a child. Plus, he's a ninja, and ninjas are just cool.
Shadow Man's a classic.
Right?
Ninjas are
is a
cool.
classic, although
That
as
is
As I got older, I realized that his design was exceedingly simple. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes simplicity is the best. Keep it simple, stupid.
See, my early favorite was kind of the proto Shadow Man.
Yeah.
And that is Metal Man.
Yeah, that's one I definitely would want to bring
That's-
up as well.
That's the very first level I ever played of any Mega Man game was Metal Man's level.
That's the one I always wanted to start with. I don't know if that was the first one I attempted, but once I knew the game, that's the first one I always wanted to go to.
That's always the one I started with. That was the very first one I ever went to, though.
Nice.
It's the one
and so-
everyone starts with because the Metal Blade is so overpowered. It's
Well, no,
Yeah,
I
I mean that's part of what makes it great.
You got to understand. This is the first time I bought, I rented the game. I put it in my Nintendo. I played, and I said, "That guy." This wasn't, I need to get the Metal Blade. This was just, I want to do this one. And ever since then, Metal Man has been my favorite Robot Master through all of the other games. Now, I will admit, my knowledge of the Robot Masters and Mega Man and all that stuff is lacking in comparison to some of y'all. But it's gotten rusty over time as well, just because I know basically the first 4 Mega Man, maybe 5 Mega Man games. And that I've played the others, but none of them are really stuck in my memory.
It says something how iconic the Metal Blade is, that it's Mega Man's B neutral in Smash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it had to be there because it is just that important of a weapon in his arsenal. I mean, frankly, it's overpowered, but like, I love it. It just, I don't know. Once you get it,
Plus
you
someone
almost use it more
steals
than the
it
Metal
from you.
Buster.
But like that level, well, that's the other thing is it takes so little energy to fire.
Yeah, and that's the main reason why is because you could basically use it indefinitely because it, one bar you had to shoot 3 times to expend one, and you were likely to get a refill, and it just never ran out.
And so it's just overpowered.
Well, that, and also you could shoot in all 8 directions, which is also incredibly helpful. But I mean, the thing is with Metal Man, it's not just his weapon though. Like, I liked his stage.
Yeah,
I like
it's
the
a great
music to
stage.
his stage, and I like the fight with him. And I love the fact that he waits for you to take the first shot. I love that. Like just how they programmed his AI with the fight.
I'm sorry. I
It's a
need to
definite
interrupt.
power move.
Splice, I'm very, very mad. I just was watching the video and he skipped an E-tank, and I'm just upset now. You've ruined my evening.
Gonna happen
It's a
lot.
speedrunner, dude.
Yeah, all
What do you
the
expect?
videos, all the videos I got are the speed runs of it. So
Okay,
yeah.
fine, but still I'm mad.
But no, Metal Man is definitely iconic. Although it does also suffer from them trying to figure out how they wanted to do the weapon rock paper scissors, because Metal Blade was so busted that didn't it one shot Metal Man?
Yes.
It was
I don't know, one
uh,
shot, but
it was only a few years ago that I realized that Woodman's weakness was not Metal Blade.
Well, I still use Metal Blade against Woodman just because, well, I was more likely to have it, and I wanted to do Woodman's stage before Heatman's stage anyways, but yeah.
I'm going to interject with a quick correction, because you're both right about Metal Man being weak to his own weapon.
But in the if
Japanese
yes, it was
version
two. It was two hits in the hard mode. Yes, which is the Japanese version's mode.
Right. If you pick normal mode in the American version of the game, then a single metal blade would kill Metal Man. Otherwise, it would take two.
Is that one of the few examples of a game that was like a non-RPG that was released in North America and made easier instead of being made much harder?
Or were they normally made harder?
I mean,
they added a normal mode, but they still had hard mode. Like you could select it.
yeah, but like as the default though.
Maybe.
Like a lot of games, like Battletoads is the big one of like the number of lives you had was significantly less. I think the Turtles game, one of the Turtles games was like this as well. Anyway, we're getting off topic, but it's interesting to see that Mega Man had that
Off topic
kind of
on this
normal
stream?
mode.
No, perish the thought.
Look, overleveling takes you on some wild tangents sometimes.
Back in my day, wait.
I also liked his design. The saw blade on his forehead. I don't know. It's kind of weird when I think about it, but it's kind of like that old school Doctor stethoscope, but with the
Makes your
saw blade
headshots
instead.
really powerful.
Yeah, and yeah, no,
Technically,
I kind of liked everything
he's also
about
got
Metal Man.
blades. He's also got metal blades around his shoulders, but technically, for both Metal Man and Shadow Man, the metal blades and shadow blades that they throw at you, they actually pull off of their faceplate.
Really?
So did Shadow Man Shadow Man's was kind of like a weaker his thing was weaker than the metal blade. Like it returned back like a boomerang, so it had less range.
Well,
It only had half.
and I
the
think it
range,
took
and
more. Didn't it take more energy
weapon
as well?
energy. It
Yeah,
took
look.
more weapon energy, had half the range, and you couldn't shoot it downward. You could only shoot it in an upward arc.
Ever since Metal Man, they've been making sure they don't accidentally make another metal blade.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I fell off.
Metal blade or bust.
No. Another one I really like. I had to bring it up. He's my favorite. Tomahawk Man I love his stage. I love his music, and I love his design because the whole gimmick of Mega Man 6 is that they're all based around various countries, and I like that the U.S. one they go with the native theme, but they still keep it Old West. But I just really liked his boss fight. He just had kind of a different, like, because his tomahawks have this upward scooping motion when he throws them. So they start off going low and then move high, and so you have to jump over them. And then he would I don't know, he does like this headbutt thing, and the headdress would like shoot feathers at you. And I don't know, it was just a fun boss fight, and I love Silver Tomahawk as a weapon. Just because, again, for that exact same, I don't know, that scooping motion, it was harder to hit with. And I had fun with it. And again, I just love his music. It's because it has that whole, like, the bass line is sort of like a railroad car going down the tracks.
And that was Charge Man's theme.
Well, no, he also does, but Tomahawk Man does it as well. Two people can have that. But no. Plus, I also just like the red rocks of his stage, if I can find it.
I don't know. Mega Man 6's aesthetic of trying to be more like people instead of I don't know, objects or tools. I don't know. It just didn't mesh with me quite as well as the tool themes of the other games.
I liked it, but that's why it's a personal thing. No one's going to argue for Plant Man, though, right? That is goofy looking. It's just...
Yeah, not on this end.
The other thing, this is just a minor thing. On Mega Man 6, I love these intro screens that have stats for all of them, giving you height and weight and attack and mobility. I'm a sucker for crap like that.
And none of those mean anything.
Not a single thing. Doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
But I also
just like the stats they had at the end of X6.
Yep.
Or X2, sorry.
Well, but another thing is just I like like when they're doing theming, like, all right, so they're going with an Old West theme for this Robot Master. They have those gun fighters.
We got West Joe's Gunslinger Joe.
Is that what that's called?
I don't think so, but that's what I call him.
But
Is
then,
there
like
any
this right here,
Joe or
like
something?
this background right here, like the setting sun.
It's a Joe type enemy, but it doesn't have the shield, and it has a 6-shooter on its arm instead of a. Now the setting sun that we're looking at on the video right now actually it's kind of funny because well, my parents were vehemently anti-console when I was growing up, so I never owned a console, and I couldn't get these games any other way other than emulation, which I found in the mid to the late 90s, which is when I first was able to play all the Mega Man games, because I'd only ever seen them playing at Fred's house in short bursts before. But that Setting Sun, the emulator that I first used, couldn't emulate that properly. So
Really?
It was broken, and that section of the game would always glitch out, and I had to play it by memory, by trial, error, and memory, because I couldn't see the platforms, I couldn't see where they were, and so I abused save states like no tomorrow until I could figure out how how it was supposed to be navigated, so I could get to the other side and reset the.
Well, why didn't you just get the DOS versions of the game?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
I had the DOS
not
version of
exist.
Mega Man 3.
Oh gosh.
And even Mega Man 1 and 3 for DOS were not the same games, even remotely the same games.
No, and from what I understand, they're not any good either.
Get the Game Boy collection.
They were magnificent. No.
Yeah, they make some decisions on those DOS games. All right, see, we've gotten Baggins, or no, Lunisar talked about. No, who talked about Metal Man as their favorite?
I did.
Baggins,
that
Baggins
was-
brought it up.
Okay, Looney.
I just pitched in because I love Metal Man. You know what? I'll bring up one that I like him just largely because of just the aesthetic and how they did the level, how they did the music. But I'll bring up what's his name? Shade Man. Shade Man from
Shade
7.
Man. Okay, there's not one that I would have guessed.
Yeah, but
The Vampire Lord.
yes, the Vampire Lord. I think he kind of looks cool, but it's not because I'm into vampires or anything, but I kind of love the whole horror aesthetic. It's kind of got the Castlevania aesthetic going on. But what I really loved was the music for it. I think was perfect, but I loved the Easter egg that they put in as well. So when you select his stage, if you hold down B, instead of playing Shade Man's music, it'll play Ghost and Goblins main theme.
Really?
Instead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, Shade Man's music is awesome. So it does kind of like, I have to choose between two songs and they're both great. And so, but
Personally, I think Shade Man's theme is far better than
I do think Shade
But
Man's
still,
theme is better. But it's still a great Easter egg, especially because the level kind of has that Ghost and Goblins where coffins pop up out of the ground and you know an enemy comes out and attacks you, but which is just so appropriate for Ghosts, you know, just to kind of have that as an Easter egg cameo. So I really like Shade Man.
I do like the fact that his weapon is called Noise Crush. Like that's one of the better names for a weapon.
Random aside, just because you mentioned Ghost and Goblins, I was talking to my boss this week. Apparently, he beat Ghost and Goblins for the first time ever, and
I'm calling BS on that. Nobody can beat that game. It's impossible.
I
Did
don't
he
want to
use
hear that
save
from you.
states?
You claim that you beat Contra without using the code. I don't believe you.
I did once. I
Don't
And
believe
also
that.
beating Ghost and Goblins, it's like, did you just beat it once and not well, the whole
No.
you have to beat it twice to beat
Like
it.
he said it was absolutely brutal. I don't think he beat it twice.
Because
If
you
he
beat
did-
it once and then it sends you back to the beginning of the game and you have to go through the whole game again to truly beat it.
Right.
But
Anyway.
yeah. But yeah, I just kind of I think his design looks cool with just the color palette they chose to make it look like a bat, and then just mostly the music and the level, kind of Castlevania horror aesthetic and Ghost and Goblins aesthetic and that Easter egg are kind of the main reasons why I think he's pretty cool.
It's definitely a unique level aesthetic for a Mega Man game. You don't normally get horror elements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him my favorite, but I love that aspect of him.
Mithril.
Favorite Robot Master is hard to say. I guess if we just want to do small things, because I've only ever finished Mega Man 1, and that was definitely with save states. Thank you, Yellow Devil, for that. But I had a collection, like the GameCube collection, and I played a bit of a lot of them, but this was so long ago I don't even really remember a lot of them. But my most pressing memory right now is just of all the Mega Man Robot Masters whose stage themes are so similar to just other 90s or 80s, 80s or 70s music. I cannot hear Elecman's stage without hearing Faithfully anymore.
I don't know what Faithfully is.
As in Forever Yours?
Yeah, though the thing is I was thinking about that earlier today, and I'm isn't that just Pachelbel's Ganon with the tempos changed up a bit, like how long you hold each note? It's just
it's by Journey.
It's just Pachelbel's Canon.
Okay, I thought you said Pachelbel's Ganon first, and I was like, that's totally different.
Oh, Pachelbel's Ganon is such a great remix, though. But
Pachelbel's Ganondorf?
Canon. Yes, Pachelbel's Canon. But Journey, Cutman, they have that same motif.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sure, there's music that's inspired by, there's music that does its own thing. Elecman's theme, it just has that similar intro, and then it goes off in its own thing there, but...
Actually, they did ask the composer of the Mega Man music. She's like, I'd never heard this song before. But yeah, it does sound similar.
It's also one of those things of you look at the Mario theme and it's just, what is it, We Don't Talk About It or something? Some other song.
Green Green?
Do-do-do-do-do.
That's the name of the song, Green Green.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was actually more popular in Japan than it was in English, than the US, even though it was a US band.
Yes, it's one of those things where it's even though they say it wasn't directly an inspiration or whatever, if that's just kind of in the sound wave, it's hard to get that to not be in your brain.
Yeah.
No shame, no judgment or anything. I just think it's interesting how the similarities that we find.
Another one that I just like we're just talking about the design, and I like it. And it's stupid because it's just so basic, but I like Concrete Man's design. It just nails that big, Crusher style Mega Man Robot Master really well. That he's one of the more unique weapons in the game.
It's just a smoother Stone Man.
Yeah, and Stone Man needed some edges smoothed out. Plus, Stone Man had the weird thing where he was like a fall-apart robot, which is an interesting design. That was Stone Man, right? I'm not...
Yeah, Stone Man crumbled when he did his love.
Which I just have questions about what is a Robot Master that can fall apart? It's an ablative Robot Master. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept for the ability to take a hit. It's just you automatically collapse, but then you can reassemble.
I just feel like that's a design flaw. Unless you're going to use it offensively somehow.
It's kind of like that crumple framework for a car.
Yeah, I guess. It's the coming back together
He's
that's
fighting
interesting.
Proto Man right now.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
the video. He's fighting Proto Man right now, and in this fight, Proto Man has a charge shot that he has never utilized anywhere else before, which is essentially just several Mega Man's charge shots overlaid right on top of each other if you look closely enough. But it's a very long attack.
I'd like to have that attack personally. Okay, so another one that's just a weird subcategory, and I would hate it if I were a robot master. Robot masters that don't get hands. Like Needle Man and Napalm Man. That's just rude.
Well, yeah,
Which
there
is
was
odd
one
when
where
you
like
consider the fact that it's odd that when you consider the fact that the Mega Man universe has energy mass conversion technology. So there's literally no reason to not give them hands that they can just convert to whatever they need to use for their attacks.
Especially if you want to take over the world.
Well, and I'm trying to think which one it was where, like, Dr. Light made him to help manage, like, a power plant, but he doesn't have hands, so it's like...
Sparkman.
That's Sparkman.
Sparkman for that, for power plant. I think there was... Oh,
I mean,
there were so
Electman was
many.
also, but Electman has hands.
No,
One
no,
of the
no. Well,
fire
okay, yeah, there
ones
was
as
that. I guess
well.
it was a geothermal power plant, Magma Man, and I'm like, how is he going to
Right.
manage it without hands?
He's going to gesture.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of these robot masters weren't designed for evil. They were co-opted for evil.
But then you look at it and you say, of course he was going to get angry. You gave him pokers for hands. I'd be pissed off too.
In reality, only
made him-
about 4 of the Mega Man games are the robots developed directly by Dr. Wily.
You made him a
Mega Man
submarine
1.
and you gave him torpedoes.
You mean Light?
Oh, Wily.
Yeah.
Mega Man 1 was Light, not
He's
Wily.
saying
Right.
saying
I
only a
I
few of
very
I
them
was
few.
interrupted
Wily.
before I could finish the thought. Mega Man 1, they were developed by Dr. Light. Mega Man 2, they were developed by Dr. Wily. Mega Man 3, they were a cooperative effort between both Light and Wily, except for Shadow Man, who was actually discovered and repaired. In Mega Man 4, they were built by Dr. Cossack. Mega Man 5 are suspected to have been built by Dr. Wily. That's not fully confirmed, but no one else knows where else they came from. Mega Man 6, they were built by various roboticists around the world. Mega Man 7s are Wily's. Mega Man 8s are Wily's. 9s are Lights. 10s are... They were captured. And 11, they were Lights again. So Light has built just as many of the robot masters practically as Wily's has.
Which makes you really
It's just
wonder
Wily is a master.
why they get the Dr. Wily numbers.
So wait, are you saying that Shadow Man was basically like the early version of X because he was found and repaired? And...
Shadow. Well, I mean, according to some lore, Shadow Man was a space robot. He came from space.
And was a ninja.
No, they added the ninja motif after they found and repaired him.
Okay.
Because they thought it'd be cool.
As you do.
Yeah, when you get an alien
I'm-
robot, isn't the first thing you want to do turn it into a ninja?
You know what this guy needs?
I'm gonna go back to Mega Man 7 a bit because in the 90s and when Mega Man 7 first came out, it wasn't very well liked, especially since it was following in the footsteps of the absolute perfection that is Mega Man X.
Mm-hmm.
But the game was made in literally in 3 months, and for as many little nods and Easter eggs are in this game, that is an amazing thing. But one of the
3
things about Mega Man
months?
7 that 3 months. One of my favorite things about Mega Man 7, though, is it has some of the most fun robot master fights of any game in the Spear series, especially if you go Buster only. My personal favorite of the bunch is probably Freeze Man. He is a highly mobile robot master and one of the few robot masters that actually runs. Very few of the robot masters have a running animation. Most of them just jump around. In fact, let's see. Cutman jumps. I think only Elecman. No, Fireman has a running animation for Mega Man 1. So Elecman and Fireman have running animations. Quickman. Technically, Metal Man has a running animation because you fight him on a conveyor belt, but he never actually moves anywhere. He only runs in order to stay stationary. I don't think any of the Mega Man 3 robot masters have a running animation. Snake Man does. That's right, Snake Man and Gemini Man. So never mind.
It's free. I'm sorry, I always get them mixed up. Is it Freeze Man or Frost Man? You said.
Freeze Man is the one I'm actually talking about.
Yeah.
But
he's one of the few
he
large
runs all around.
Robots.
What? No, Frostman's
He
the
is
big
taller
one.
than Mega Man.
Is he?
Frostman is the enormous one. Yeah.
Dang it, I get them mixed up.
Freeze Man is taller than Mega Man, but yeah, he's not like super giant.
I don't know how many more
the
ice
huge one that's like
robot masters they can get.
The only Mega Man 7 robot master that I still have trouble defeating with only the Mega Buster is Slash Man, because that red goop he drops on you is very unpredictable and really messes you up.
Yeah, that was something I was gonna ask. Is we're talking about like designing the fights of the different robot masters, but when it comes down to that, like the Buster only versus like weakness fights, how much does that play into it, you think? Like there are certain fights where it's like there is no way I'm going into this fight without their weakness, because that is like not impossible, but basically.
You know, it was more prominent in like Mega Man 1, there are 2 robot masters that can kill you in 3 hits.
Yeah. Elecman.
Elecman and Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
And so balancing, like you couldn't go into those matches without the weakness, because their weakness was also a 3-hit weakness. So you could kill them in 3 hits, they could kill you in 3 hits, and if you just tried to buster them, well, you didn't have the charge shot, so you'd have to P-shoot them to death, and that took forever, and they'd likely get 3 hits in before you were able to kill them. So it was very unbalanced. And even Shadow Man, while he is my favorite robot master in general, his fight isn't that fun and can be very difficult buster only. It's also can be difficult with his weakness, since it's the top spin, and half the time you hit yourself with it when you're trying to use it on him. It fixed this in later games, where they'd make them a little more balanced for just a buster only run, but still challenging enough that having the weakness. And then the one downside of 7 is the weaknesses made their fights trivial, because you'd lock them in a static loop that was easily predictable every time you hit them with their weakness.
Well, I mean, that's also true in X, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of X games, not the first X game, well, except for Spark Mandrill and to a degree Armored Armadillo. They would
Flame Mammoth as well. If you shot off his
Flame Mammoth,
trunk.
and so you could stun lock Sting Chameleon as well.
That's true. If you manage to ankle it upward every time, you could.
Which is easy as all get out.
It would knock him down.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I'm familiar with certain fights in X where, or at least some of the X games, I know we're not talking too much about the X games, where they would design the fight and it's basically, okay, you have to do a fully powered charge shot to do 1 pip of health damage, and so a buster-only fight takes like 10 minutes of pure focus.
The reason why I brought up X is I was just kind of trying to point out that he was saying it was a negative in 7, but yet it was considered a positive for X, but it's the same mechanic.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, how do you design a fight to be interesting, both buster only and with their weakness? And so it's like, okay, there are some fights where you try to design a buster only, but then it's like, okay, cool, Elecman, maybe not interesting fight with a weakness, but at least it's a slightly more fair fight. Versus without it, it's just miserable.
All right. While Heatman's on the screen, I'll bring him up. I hate his level. I absolutely hate his level. And
everyone hates his level.
But I have to say, the Zippo lighter aesthetic is hilarious.
It is so
and
goofy.
I kind of love it.
Love it. Yeah, it's same.
It's goofy, but I love it because of that. And so did the creator of My Hero Academia, because he decided to make one of the pro heroes basically be a washing machine version of Heatman. So
yeah,
wash
So
it.
it's
And that's hilarious.
interesting. What I remember about some of them, and I think 2 was one of the games, where a lot of the Robot Masters were designed by fans. They had like a design contest, and then the winning designs ended up making it as Robot Masters.
I believe that was 6,
Well,
not 2.
They did that for
They did that for a few. Clown Man was one of the fan designs.
They
as
did
was
that
Sword
for
Man.
most of the games.
Really?
Most of the games had fan submissions for Robot Masters. 6 is notable because it was the first time the contest was expanded worldwide.
Yeah.
Prior to 6,
Oh.
only Japanese fans were allowed to submit suggestions for Robot Masters.
Because I was watching a
lot
video
of
where they...
them-
Sorry, you first.
I was just going to say, a lot of them were heavily modified after the fact, but
Mm-hmm.
he did.
I was
going
gonna
to
bring it
He
up
made the
'cause-
stars in the background, birds. Anyway, go on, Mithril.
Yeah, no, I was going to bring up that same thing where it's like a lot of the stages then were designed to be a little bit more generic, and then it's like, okay, we'll probably have robots of these types or that type, but then it's like, you don't really have an ice level in 2, and so they basically rethemed, I think it was like Quickman to be basically
Flashman
their
was the
ice
ice.
level.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Flashman.
Flashman,
That
yeah.
was the one you slid
Although
around
they made
on,
it-
yeah.
Yeah, they made it more like crystalline than ice, but it was the
Mhm.
same design idea.
So it was interesting of like, hey, we had to design this level while didn't know who was going to be at the head, and now gotta mix some stuff up.
Actually, after Iceman, there wasn't an ice-themed Robot Master until
6, I think.
Blizzard Man. Yeah, 6.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
then they
And
went
there-
ham.
And then there's been one in every
Flashman's
game.
such a great level, though.
No, but
So you
so
like dodging the giant beams of death? Oh wait, no, that's not Flashman.
yeah,
That's Quickman.
so
People love Quickman a lot, and I don't. I mean, like,
Quickman
people
was
talk about
supposed
how
to be
his
the
song
rival.
is so great, and the thing is, it's like I actually find the original mix of Quickman really annoying because it's got that. I don't know. The beat is it's really harsh, kind of like I don't know, like electricity zapping, and then of course the beams that come and destroy you, they make a horrible sound too, and they one shot you. I don't know. I don't like that. Though the Megas Quick in the Blue Get Acoustic cover is one of the best songs of all time ever. Of goodness, that's such a good
everyone
song.
loves the acoustic version.
Oh,
so
here's
good.
another one of my favorites
What's
though.
their original
Crash
version?
Man.
Don't you mean Clash Man?
Yes. Clash Man, Crash Man, it's all good. It's a fun level. I love the music a lot. It's one of my favorite songs to play on my saxophone, in fact. It's, I don't know, saxophone just fits this level so well, and this theme song. I mean, I will admit, a lot of my love for Crash Man is just because I love the song so much. Because it's fun to listen to and fun to play, so... but also, the crash bombs add that mechanic of being able to break walls, which becomes useful throughout the game.
Yeah, but he also is one of the ones with a weird AI where if you don't shoot, he doesn't do anything.
He'll run at you.
No, because he then turns right around.
Won't.
Wow, so it wasn't just Metal Man, but Crash Man as well. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
true.
no,
Well,
so-
Crash Man, that's true. He doesn't shoot until you do because he jumps and then puts a
Yeah.
crash bomb where you were.
No, so if you just stand still, he'll just... And they reference it in the song. Crash Man paces back and forth.
Oh, yeah. You're right. They do.
Inside walls.
Well, and they reference
reinforce.
that for Metal Man as well. Take the first shot, Mega Man. I'll put you to the test.
Freeze Man is the same way. In fact, he'll sit and taunt you if you don't move.
Which
He'll lean
one?
forward and Freeze Man 7. He'll lean forward and do a come on gesture until you move and attack. And then if you hit him with his own weapon, he'll stop and do a pose and actually regain health. 7 had a lot of little nods like that. It's why it's become one of my favorite games.
I
Probably
didn't know
my
that.
second favorite.
I also love at the start of the Quick Man stage, there's an extra life you can easily grab. Just a side that they know that
You're gonna need it.
yeah, it's like we know what we're throwing you into. We're gonna give you an extra life to start because
Oh, it's like one of those Ninja Gaiden life loops where it's like, look, we know this part is just not reasonable. Here's an extra life, so if you die here, you can just go again.
It's just the we're sorry extra life.
Man was supposed to be Mega Man's primary rival in this game. That's
Quick
why
Man?
his
That's a
animation-
thing?
Yeah, that's why his animation, like little things like how his boomerang on his face, on his head, on his helmet shimmers when you select him, and how he's centered in the he's in the upper right hand corner of the select screen. But in an interview later, one of the creators, we kind of built Quick Man as kind of like a rival to Mega Man,
I didn't realize that was a thing.
What did that speedrunner
more
just did a
so than
crazy
the
job.
other.
Oh, that's zipping.
He's breaking the game. Yeah.
No, the zips are quite incredible as far
Well,
as
that was it. That was it. His when he strikes his pose, his the boomerang on his helmet shines. It's just there was little details that they added to Quick Man that none of the other Robot Masters got.
I love
Didn't
Woodman.
Flashman have a shine too with the pose?
Well, that's because it's part of his weapon, but that's his whole body.
Fair enough. Woodman's an interesting one. He's kind of silly, but I also kind of like him, and I kind of like his stage.
I like that he gets brought in to the Airman song.
Frankly, he's more difficult than Airman is.
Well, that's why he's part of the song. Although I don't know, I always had way more trouble with Airman. I can beat Woodman, or at least back then I could beat Woodman with the Mega Buster.
I feel like with Mega Buster, I actually think I'd have an easier time against Airman with Mega Buster than Woodman, but I always had the metal blade,
with
so
Mega Buster?
Yeah. Yeah, but
He's
I just couldn't.
80% of the time, and the only
Yeah.
time you get to shoot is when he throws his leaves at you.
Yeah, and I could jump over it and shoot him. I don't know. I could never predict
Yeah, but I
Airman.
usually get caught by the leaves falling down.
No, that was easy. At least for me back then. I don't know. Maybe now I'd suck. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know,
didn't
the
really
leaves
have
falling
that time.
down was the hard part for me to dodge.
I never really found Woodman hard. I don't know.
Well, if you use the metal blade, you'd kill him first, even if you took damage every time.
No, but like I always just struggled with Airman. I couldn't figure out how to jump through his wind. Like I just
Wait,
could
he
never.
just used Airman against Woodman. I thought his true weakness was Heatman, but he was also weak to
In
metal
Mega Man
blades.
2, they had multiple.
Yeah, there were
But
there were
I
some
didn't know
better.
Airman was a weakness to him, because I thought he was strong. I mean, yeah, he was strong against Airman, so I didn't actually
Mega
know.
Man 2's weakness chart was, again, Metal Man is weak to his own
Yeah.
weapon. Every
Yeah,
Robot
yeah.
Master had almost 2 or 3 weaknesses.
Oh yeah, I just
Some were
thought I
more
knew
powerful.
them all. I didn't know that one.
He used Airman because Airman did 4 ticks. I mean, Heatman's weapon at full charge would take over half of Woodman's health off in one chunk, but the charge takes too long in the air.
Sure.
Because he's speedrunning.
Well, I mean, notice in the speedrun, Metal Man's towards the end.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
He doesn't need the metal blade.
No, but It's something awesome that Airman is like this legendary figure that he gets a song, the "I Can't Defeat Airman" song, which is just very fun.
Well, it's also kind of, I don't know, when I saw the song, I'm like, really? Do people have that much trouble with Airman?
Yeah, I don't remember him having trouble.
I never remember having trouble with him.
I wonder if that's
I didn't have trouble
meme,
with any of
though.
the. I didn't have trouble with any of the Robot Masters themselves. I just had trouble with Wily's Castle.
Mega Man 2 is one of those games. Maybe it's because I never played on easy mode. I think this guy might be playing easy mode. I'm not. Oh no, he is on difficult. It says that. But Mega Man 2 is one of those games where I can't beat most of the robots with just the Buster. I have to go into the fight with their weaknesses.
I don't know if I've tried to do Buster only, honestly. Especially in Mega Man 2, where I want to get the Metal Blade ASAP.
If I tried to just tank them and out damage them, most of them I think that works. But I don't do that. That's not how I play. So it would always. I try to avoid attacks, but you can't. Some of those attacks are virtually. I mean, some players have proven that it's possible, but a lot of Airman's patterns I just found absolutely impossible to job. You need like dodge. You need like pixel perfect maneuvering to get around them because he's also blowing you around with his air.
You know, Bubble Man, he's one that gets a bit of a bad rap.
Well, see, he has one of the best designs, in my opinion, and one of the worst names.
Well, like, I actually like his level. I mean, other than the fact that there's death spikes everywhere, but like the first time I went underwater in Mega Man, I'm like, I can jump super high. I thought that was cool.
It's one of
the waterfall effect hurts my eyes to look at.
And I do like the
here
music.
where it's it's underwater netting. But I mean, it's fairly standard at this point. Mega Man's water levels, they have spikes at the end. And it's just
the ceiling on the roof of the boss chambers, because not only Bubble Man but Burst Man also does the whole fill the room with water and put spikes on the ceiling.
Although another one that does that, and it wasn't a water, was Tornado Man in Mega Man 9. He had spikes on the ceiling.
No, he did have spikes on the ceiling because he would use his weapon and it would make an air draft that would cause you to jump high if you weren't careful. So yeah, he'd still try to put you into the ceiling.
Remind me, which level or game was it that had a water level, but the water was like brown and nasty?
Wasn't that 9 with Pump Man? Because it was a sewer?
Pump Man is 10.
I'm thinking of an earlier one, I thought.
Oh, 10, not 9. My bad.
Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Was it Frogman?
I don't know.
Toadman. There's no Frogman.
Toadman was like the sewers.
It was like a water level, but the background was brown.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably Toadman. I could be wrong, though.
Looking at this video, it looks like it's Pump Man. But, I mean,
Pump Man absolutely was, but if he's talking earlier, then yeah.
I may just be remembering.
Pump Man is 8-bit. Pump Man is 8-bit, so
that could be why he could be thinking of Pump Man, just forgetting the fact that it's 8-bit.
Pump Man has one of the goofiest designs of all the Robot Masters.
10 is the only game I've only played once. I'm not overly familiar with it.
It's just, it feels so melded in compared to some of the others. There it is. Yep, that's definitely.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, when you described it, that's why I said Pump Man first off. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like.
No, this isn't the one I'm thinking of.
But just look at that design. Like, look at that. That is so goofy looking.
In hard mode, he actually pulls the lever off and throws it at you.
It's just so weird looking.
I'm actually kind of bitter at Mega Man 10 because it was the first Mega Man game where it stole 2 of my Robot Master fan designs and made them official.
Say what?
Two of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 10 used names that I had used in designing fan character Robot Masters.
So now you can't use them anymore.
Young Man.
Wait, which one?
Blade Man and Strike Man.
Strike Man. Okay.
Was Strike
Blade
Man a
Man's-
baseball?
Their Strike Man's a baseball because they went with like baseball strikes. My Strike Man was as in a strike attack aircraft.
Ah.
Kind of strike an air strike. His weapon was the air strike. Although I did have a backup name for him. I initially had called him Turbine Man, but I didn't like that name because it didn't fit the aesthetic I wanted to go for. I had a Blade Man themed Robot Master as well, and they took me. And then in Mega Man 11 comes up, and they steal my Blast Man, who was probably my most involved
So
Mega Man.
just making sure you're not accusing them of actually stealing it, right?
Oh no, obviously not.
Okay, just making sure.
They're just basic names. They're just. I have to rename my Robot Masters now because they steal the names.
Gotcha. Just making sure. It's just that pump animation is so goofy.
And if anyone is curious, I'll go ahead and dump these pictures into the.
But while
10
we
has
have,
the goofiest designs.
Yeah, but oh gosh, I love them though. Like
I don't.
Like I love Sheepman.
It's because you're insane. I don't. You're letting Philip K. Dick.
You're talking like a crazy person.
Blur your judgment.
Yes, I am. Because I mean, come on, it's a Blade Runner reference, right? I mean, the book's original name that the movie Blade Runner's based off of.
It doesn't make it a good
is
Robot Master.
Is do androids dream of electric sheep? And so when I saw Sheepman, I'm like, oh my gosh! And especially like the level has got this whole, robot, this whole aesthetic of like being a virtual world, and it's like a dream world for a robot. And I'm just like, okay, that's really clever. That's funny. I think that's a great reference. Now,
counterpoint.
If that book didn't exist, I would think it's a goofy design, but because it's based off of that title, I think it's clever, and I love it.
Counterpoint. He's a sheep.
Yep. That's an excellent counterpoint. Checkmate. I will say
He's an electric sheep.
It doesn't matter, but I will say I do like the design of the stage where it's the idea of like the disappearing blocks based on colors. Like it is a unique stage, but I'm sorry,
I like the stage.
It's just too goofy.
Well, the thing is I don't know. I like the reference in Pokemon with Mareep in Ampharos. That line of Pokemon. It's the
I
same
gotta be
reference,
honest.
and I
I've
like
never
it.
understood the third evolution on that one. That one that always felt like it came out of nowhere.
I mean, yeah, Ampharos looks a bit different, but I like those Pokemon, and it's using the same, the exact same concept, the whole electric sheep based off of that book. Do androids dream of electric sheep? So I don't know. I like it. I like Sheepman.
I think Solar Man is a cool design.
What's he supposed
Solar
to
Man.
be? I don't get it.
He's
He's
a
like a fusion reactor, man.
Yeah, reactor. He's a fusion reactor. He's generating stars on.
He's an artificial sun.
Chillman's just a robot, Mr. Freeze.
Yes.
But yeah, I threw my original designs into the general, and I promise you, I developed these prior to the release of these games. They're that old.
I really like your Blast Man.
Wow, your Blade Man actually is pretty close to the official one.
Now your Strike Man is definitely way different from their imagining.
Yours is way cooler too, if I'm honest.
I needed the legs.
Is
are
it cool
too
if I show
simple.
them?
I need to spice them up a bit. Yeah, you could show
Okay,
them
cool.
if you want.
How about Jetman? Would that work for his new name?
Jetman is already used in a well-known fan game.
Dang it.
I don't dare use it.
Let's see. So
Turbine Man is still available, although I think there is a fan game in development that uses one.
yeah, but you're just gonna have to put up with that with as many fan games as Mega Man has.
True enough. Frankly, I was shocked that Blast Man hadn't been taken yet, but it is now. I could call him Demo Man, but that one's a little too on the nose.
For different reasons.
A few different reasons.
Look, if they have
Yeah.
Aquaman, I have no reason. Just don't give him one eye. No, I really like your Blast Man design.
I had a whole roster of 8 robots of my own design. I have an Ion Man. It's mostly just kind of electric themed.
Yeah, I mean, you're running out of electric words for if you want to do an electric boss.
Although this guy, I have 2 different designs of this one.
Do you have a
Where I
Gauss
made
Man?
Do not have a Gauss Man, no.
The problem is, then you have to create D Gauss Man as his counterpart.
I have a coil man.
I knew you would giggle at that. I know that's so stupid. I knew you'd giggle.
Missed it. I was paying attention to
Thing is, would people even know what degaussing is anymore? I don't think modern screens need that anymore.
No, they do not. But I knew it was
Oh,
exactly your
gosh.
type of stupidity that you would go for.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Some jokes aren't for the audience. Some jokes are just for the people on the podcast.
You definitely have to be over leveled to get that one. That's for sure. Wow.
Does that have to do with Gaussian blur?
Yes.
Kind of. So
The androids
That
dream of Gaussian blur.
I could explain it. It's definitely well the scope of this. But no,
Is
One
that
of-
not why people come to our stream for physics lessons, or
not
electronics lessons, or whatever?
Not traditionally. All right. But no, I don't know. 10 just felt so mailed in. I don't know. Maybe
Though 10's the one that my kids played the most.
probably because they had access to it.
Well, that is part of it. Yes, it was the easiest access because it was just on the PS3 with all of the DLC.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where Capcom had ignored Mega Man for so long, and then Mega Man 9's a success. They really didn't have to do anything for it. And they're like, oh, wait, can we milk this
Well,
again?
They practically killed it. They put out like 10 Mega Man games in a 3-year period
Yeah.
until they just burned everyone out.
They don't know how to do Mega Man without overdoing it.
Maybe that could be one of the villains, overproduction man.
It's just
Wait,
Yeah.
in 9, 10,
Manager Man.
you said there were like how many games in that time frame?
Well, it was like in
No, I've
the
got
late
it.
90s, early 2000s. They went
Oh.
through X4 to X8,
Well,
Zeros
yeah.
1 and 2, the entirety of the Battle Network series.
Yeah, okay, those years, yeah, they just totally, yeah.
They burned everybody out, and then
I thought
they
you were
realized,
talking
"Oh, we're gonna
about-
have to-"
Okay. Because then there was a
We're gonna have to
long
stop
break
it
and then
for a little
9
bit.
came out. Yeah.
I posted the rest of them there, Splice. You can see all my old edgy Robot Masters. I had concepts for at least.
I really like this Ion Man design.
Okay, the
For at
hitman that
least
looks like a
3 or 4
mobster,
more.
I like that.
These are good. I like them.
Hey, Iron Man, there
Definitely
you go.
better than Sheep Man.
One of the robots I was designing that I wanted to, but I was never able to get the look that I like down. At least I couldn't draw it. I was going to call him Magnify Man, and I couldn't. I also mold over Focus Man, but I couldn't determine if I wanted to base him off of a microscope or just a magnifying glass.
Like burning an ant.
Kind of, yeah. One of the designs I mold over was he had a giant magnifying glass as like a staff, and he would use it to focus the sun as an attack. Yeah, like burning an ant.
There's still no Laser Man.
which we were actually, it's funny you mentioned that. We just had that discussion last night. We're just like, isn't it kind of weird there's no laser man?
Yeah.
It feels pretty in line. I guess that's sort of the coolness of Robot Masters is it's an idea that really just sort of naturally applies itself to so many things, which makes the random spring man really confusing.
I had a whole game concept in my head. And in difference to other Mega Man games, these Robot Masters would team up against Mega Man. They would pair up. And so if you fought one without defeating the other, he would show up towards the end as a desperation attack to assist the Robot Master you were fighting.
Mega Man Dual Strike.
Something like that, yeah.
That's interesting.
But I had all their attacks, all their patterns, all their weaknesses, all mapped out. I just didn't have the programming know-how to put it together. And I might be able to if I was using the tools they had today, but now I'm too lazy and I can't fully remember what all my ideas were.
No, this is difficult. Now, I've beaten all these games except for Mega Man 11. I've never played it.
Mega Man 11, I believe, it's a lot of fun. I think it was a very well-made game. I think there were some dropped opportunities. There was no DLC released, and neither Proto Man nor Bass appear at any point in the game.
I do like that, it had physical copies and they were only $30. Brand new.
I should have gotten a physical copy, but I never did.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had a physical copy, and it was like half the price of a normal game. I'm like, this is amazing.
What was the system they had for it? The
double gear.
Yeah, double gear
system.
So you could either
kept saying dual strike. I'm like, no, that's what they just said.
You could increase his speed, or you could increase his power. Yeah. It was a fun concept. I used speed more often because, well, frankly, being able to get where you want to be, yeah, speed is helpful for platforming for sure.
Although the power gear,
so it didn't actually speed up like the game; it slowed down the game, so Mega Man is in effect moving faster than everything else.
It's the speed is relative to Mega Man, but power gear, if you charged it, gave Mega Man the first instance of being a classic Mega Man. X had the ability, but Classic never did, except in one instance in a semi-canon game that was actually Chinese, or I think it was Taiwanese developed, in which Mega Man nearly blows his arm off by charging both arm cannons at the same time. It's a cutscene. You don't actually get to do it in game. In Mega Man 11, if you abuse the power gear and charge it, you can release a double buster attack, which is the first time you've been able to do that in a classic series. It's quite a potent attack too.
The double gear, yeah. Well, don't you have to be low health to use it too? Like it's a desperation attack. Or does double gear just make you go through your gear power fast, and it has a super long recharge? I can't remember. It
essentially requires you to overheat the double gear system, which does put it on a cooldown, preventing you from using it again in the near future. But the Robot Masters fights in 10 were actually quite fun, and I think they found a good balance, or not 10, in 11. I think they found a good balance of being able to of still making the game fun. It's like, even this guy, he's speedrunning the game, and he still hasn't killed this boss yet. Whereas most Mega Man games, speedrunners have offed these guys, seconds into the fight. That took him at least 30 to 45 seconds. So I think they found a good balance of buster runs versus weakness runs in Mega Man 11.
Well, in 11, I also really like how they had the stages kind of be interactive with what's happening in the back, happening in the level, depending on who you've beaten, what weapons you have. Kind of like how X was the first one where the level would change depending on what levels you've beaten. But this one, it was like there's one level that's got like oil everywhere, and you can light it on fire, or an enemy can light it on fire, and if you're able to prevent them from lighting the whole stage on fire, it's practically a different stage, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I need to play 11.
Are you talking about Mega Man 11? I don't remember that.
I think I'm talking about 11.
I know Flame Man and 6 had the whole oil pools that could be lit on fire.
The best of the fire bosses. Not that I'm biased. At this point, how many fire bosses have they had?
A lot.
Fireman, Heat Man. 3 did not have a fire boss. 4, Pharaoh Man is kind of the de facto fire boss, even though it's not technically flame based, but
Well, Swordman's kind of also fire as well.
so Swordman's definitely fire. 5 had the closest thing to a fire boss. That 5-man was Charge Man, which I wouldn't really technically consider a fire boss.
6 had
6
Flame
had
Man.
Flame Man. 7 had
Flame
who was
Swordsman.
the fire boss. 7. No, that was 8.
Oh, sorry,
8
you're right.
was Flame
Oh,
Man.
that was Yu-Gi-Oh.
Sword Man. Turbo Man was the fire boss in
Right,
7.
yes.
He had the scorch wheel. 8 was, and then Magma Man in 9, Solar Man in 10, and Torch Man in 11. So the only games that don't have fire bosses are 3, technically 4, and 5.
I'm shocked at the number. Well, and then you have things like Napalm Man and things that are like bombs or
Explosion
bombs
rather
as
than-
opposed to then yeah. I guess Napalm is kind of a combination of the two, but he was still more explosion based, fire based. Napalm Man is a cool design. I know he's politically incorrect now, but I've always liked Napalm Man.
He's got one of the best
He's
songs.
literally
That's true.
His feet are literally tank treads. It's awesome.
Yeah, certain robot masters just look cooler, and then you have ones that you're just like, what was this? Like Toadman again. I'm gonna keep harping on him. He's stupid.
How many Mega Man games were not done in the classic 8-bit style?
11.
Well,
Well, there were 8.
7.
1 through 6, 9, and 10 are the 8-bit games.
Okay.
yeah.
Speaking of which, how do you
We haven't-
looking at 11? How do you like its kind of more 3D style? I think that's 3D models and not sprites.
Oh yeah. It's all done in 3D. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed at how there aren't any mods for Mega Man 11. I'm kind of disappointed in the mod community for that.
I think it actually looks pretty good, if I'm honest. Even though I do kind of miss the sprites, but it still looks really good.
What?
Oh no, I think they did a fantastic job. The only thing about Mega Man 11 that I don't like is Mega Man's running animation. It's wimpy. I don't like it.
What I do like is I like how they've made him a little taller. He's closer to his sprite work in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
He was never that short and squat. They just that was just how they sprited it.
Well, no, I
the
saw him
original
in that
game.
documentary, Captain N the Game Master. He was very squat and green.
He talked like Chain
Documentary.
It's all the smoking stunted his growth.
Yeah, that was an issue. We need to talk about Mega Man's smoking problem.
Every chance you
And
get,
now on a
Spice.
very
It's
special
the double
episode of
gear.
Captain N the Game Master.
How could I
Well,
not?
it's the double gear that he overused double gear. That's what gave him smoker throat.
Oh, gotcha. Mega high. Oh, Captain Ed the Game Master.
It is always amusing to me that of the 2 cartoon series that Mega Man had, or that Mega Man was in, each of them got the wrong things and the right things inversely proportional to each other.
I'm sorry,
the
wait, does
two-
that temple in the background have eyes?
Yes.
Yes. No, they're robots forming from the shadows in the background.
Now, by the 2 year, are you talking about Captain N and Mega Man Wish Upon a Star, or are there the others that I don't know?
No.
No.
There's the Mega Man cartoon.
The Ruby Spears cartoon.
The one with
Which was-
Kung
I
Fu
love that cartoon,
Catman!
man.
There were 2 series.
Now I've got your power.
Yeah, that one. Because in Captain N, what they got wrong, his color, his voice, and what they got right was his personality and his size. Oh, and
His
what they got wrong
personality,
in
saying
Captain-
Mega all the time, huh?
Yep.
No, his personality, not his vocal tics. They're different.
I don't know.
Well, that sounds weirdicus.
That was Kid Icarus. And the fact that he didn't have a buster, he shot. Okay, and they got in Captain N. What they got right was that he shot pellets. What they got wrong was that he shot them from his wrists and not any kind of a buster. In the Ruby Spears cartoon, they got his color right. They got his proportions better, but he's 7 feet tall, so they got that wrong. He shoots giant blast out of his arm cannon, so they got that wrong.
But they got his verbal tics perfectly in that one.
He doesn't have verbal tics, so they got that right, but he's much more of a showboat and much more haughty, which they got wrong. Generally, Mega Man's personality isn't considered boastful or he's very humble. He doesn't like to fight, that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. So everything that the Ruby Spears got wrong, Captain N series got right, and vice versa. So if you took the 2 and put them together, you'd either get an absolute abomination or the actual canonical canon Mega Man.
I just still say you're
That's
leaving
always
out
just
Upon
been
a
amusing
Star.
to me. Upon a Star was a documentary. It was nice, but there wasn't any actual Mega Man action in it. It was just, hi, this is Japan.
What are you
Mega Man
talking
format.
about? Dr. Wily showed up and said I'm going to disappear now because I'm a ninja.
Well, I mean, that's why he developed Shadow Man to be the way he was. The best part about Mega Man on a Star is the first 15 to 20 seconds where he's fighting the Mega Man 5 Robot Masters. And they only ever show up once again, and he defeats them all with a single action.
So really, he's the most powerful of the Mega Men.
Yes, because he's very clearly experienced.
It's canon.
No, the montage of the introduction of Upon a Star is worth giving a watch. The whole thing, if you want to learn more about Japan, go for it. It's cute. But it's a very different kind of cartoon. But we're talking strictly American cartoons in terms of comparing what they got right and wrong. Upon a Star pretty much nailed everything about Mega Man, as is. It was made in Japan. They knew what they were doing.
Uh-huh.
What, you mean the people who made the US box art for Mega Man didn't know what they were doing?
Oh, this is the level I was talking
pressure
about.
and had a very.
It doesn't light on fire, but it turns to
I
jelly.
know, I just...
Yeah, but it doesn't depend on whether or not you defeat.
No, you're right.
the
It just
robot.
depends on whether
Depends
you.
on whether or not you stop the robots of
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, no other Mega Man game has done the interconnectivity of the stages like Mega Man X1 did. No other X game
Yeah.
ever did that again.
Yeah. No,
Which is kind of a
I was
bummer. I feel like
mistaken.
it's a missed opportunity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. Completely agree.
Mega Man and Missed Opportunity go hand in hand, frankly.
I mean, you're not wrong. X needs an anime. The X series absolutely needs an anime, and it would make a fantastic anime.
Well, that and it's got
And
it's
the-
got
and the-
more
and the
storylines
single-
to follow, more characters,
Right, and the
and
single instance we got of the Day of Sigma does not count.
You know
What
what
a-
Mega Man property I have vague memories of watching the TV show for, but never played?
Battle
'Cause
Network.
they had a Battle Network TV show that I vaguely
Yes,
remember watching as a kid, having
I will
never
always be
played a
bitter.
Mega Man before in my life at that point.
I will always be bitter that the Battle Network got an anime series before the X series did.
yeah.
As much as a
that's
fan of
true.
Battle Network as I am, that is a crime. X just has a way better plot line.
Wait, are you a fan of Battle Network?
Yeah, I am.
I'm surprised by that. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. on the gameplay of it. Just, I don't know, it clicked for me. It's also an example of one of the weirdest games where my mom bought it for me and I don't know why. Because I had never even heard of it, so I don't know how she heard of it.
It was probably one of those we have Mega Man at home things.
Except at that point I was in high school, so...
I just thought you weren't an RPG guy, so I was kind of surprised to hear.
Battle Network's a weird kind of RPG.
It's true. It's kind of a, I don't know, card collector RPG.
I was gonna
almost.
say Splice likes
deck
It's
builders.
like deck builders.
Splice likes
Yeah.
deck builders,
Battle
and
Network
Splice
is
likes
deck
Super
builder.
Mario RPG, and that kind of is like an interesting cross section of like you have the deck building aspect, and then you have like the active moving around the map battle aspect.
Yeah, I've never really known what to call Mega Man Battle Network. It's sort of its own weird thing. Because its battle system, it's got some strategy element, it's got some action element. I don't know.
Well, before he finishes this Robot Master, Blockman's power, that's a fun one to use. Just, you spawn blocks and drop them in front of you. It's
Tetris,
cool.
the power.
Yeah, seriously. I think it's cool. I like Blockman largely for that, because I think his power is cool.
See, and in a similar vein, although it's much, much less usable just because of the design of the game, I loved Gutsman. Like, it's one of those, it's a great ability, except that you can never use it.
That's why I actually don't like Gutsman, because it's like, it's so useless except for very, very specific circumstances.
Right.
But see,
I mean, to be
what
fair, I love the spinner from Twilight Princess, and it's kind of the same thing. The stage has to be built for it. And
Gutsman, acquiring Gutsman's power gave Mega Man one of his rare permanent buffs.
What do you mean?
Mega Man is nearly as strong as Gutsman. And it's a result of having acquired his weapon from the first game, which is why and how he was able to hold up the collapsing fortress at the end of Mega Man 5.
Oh, didn't realize that.
oh, you mean lore-wise permanent
Yeah.
buff, not
Yeah.
not.
Or why?
Like-
Not in
Got it.
game, no.
That-
You're in canon.
Buffs the crossover games.
Yeah, like Mega Man, canonically speaking, and it's possible that 9 reverted this. They haven't really touched upon it since then, and 9 reverted a lot of things, which I'm a little bitter about, but that's a different conversation for another time. I like 9. It's a good game. Don't get me wrong. There are a few things about 9 that irked me. And 9 did kind of revert Mega Man back to, I haven't had to do this in so long. I'm no longer, it was kind of a soft reboot. I'm no longer a fighting robot. And then Wily strikes again. And that's why, that's the canonical explanation as to why he doesn't have the charge shot or the slide anymore. Because those functions were removed because he decided he didn't want to be a fighting robot anymore. And Wily was being quiet for a long time. So Light said, okay, we don't have to do this anymore. He's done.
Well, he
which is
always
stupid,
was reluctant to fight. He always was a reluctant hero, which is something I like about
Right.
him.
No, it's true.
But he wants to be the
That was
one to fight for
personality thing that I was
justice.
talking about. Oh, he
Yes.
fights for everlasting peace. That was a fan interpretation.
I know.
Not a bad one, but
Well, so, but
But-
one thing I forgot, like, we should mention about Gutsman, though, is, like, he has one fatal flaw, and that's the fact that you can tell who he is from his butt. And if you don't get
no
that
one is going to
reference, don't
get
worry
that
about
noise.
it. It doesn't matter.
I vaguely think I might get the reference, but my brain is not.
It's,
That's
Yeah.
man.
it's from the Ruby Spears cartoon where Gutsman and Cutman are, like, disguised as, like, animal
Dressed up
mascots.
as animatronics.
Yeah, and Rush figures it out, and he bites the butt of the mascot and rips it off, and it reveals Gutsman's butt on the other side. But they play this dramatic electric guitar chord, Dana. Just, and then the internet went
Gutsman.
nuts with it.
Okay, I've definitely seen memes of that. Speaking of
it was
Guts
an early
Man,
YouTube
though.
poop, and I the first time I watched that, I nearly passed out. I was laughing so hard. In retrospect, it's not even that funny, but I just found it. The
I think it
funniest
is. I think it holds up.
Speaking of Guts Man, is there a lore reason as to why he's like the most duplicated robot in the background of every single everything?
He's the de facto mascot of the Robot Masters. That's all it is.
Okay.
Because him and Cutman are like when any random person thinks Robot Master, or when a fan talks about Robot Master, generally the first image that comes up in your head is going to be Gutsman or Cutman.
Which is
Probably
interesting.
That very well could be because
they're
of
less
the Ruby
played than
Spears
Mega Man
run.
2, though, so that's interesting. But I guess they do show up in the other games as like cameo bosses. So.
Oh, Gutsman. Well, I mean, Gutsman shows up as the Guts Dozer in Mega Man 2, and again as a modified Guts Dozer in Mega Man 7. It's one of the Wily stage bosses. Cutman. The only other time Cutman shows up is the Saturn version of Mega Man 8 has 2 additional Robot Master fights that are not in the more common PlayStation version.
Yeah, I
And
definitely
at two
played
separate instances. At 2 separate instances, you can fight Cutman in a rematch, and you can fight Woodman in a rematch. And those fights just simply do not exist in the PlayStation version. Now there are 2 Robot Masters. Oh, go ahead, Baggins.
I was going to say Cutman is also the lowest numbered Robot Master. So
Yeah, he's the first Robot Master after Mega Man, Proto Man, and Roll. Not in that order. There are 2 Robot Masters though that have been decanonized.
really,
Huh.
They don't talk about them anymore. They were retcons that have since been decanonized because the game they were in didn't sell too great.
Mm.
And that Splice, here we go. And it was the 2 robots that they added to Mega Man Powered Up, which is a remake of Mega Man 1 for the PlayStation Vita.
oh yeah,
Oh.
No,
I have that.
No, not the Vita,
Man?
not the Vita, not the Vita. It was the PlayStation Portable. It was Time Man and Oil Man. And they were added to the game because they wanted to give the first game 8 Robot Masters again.
just because all the others had 8.
6.
Right.
Because all the other had 8. So they added Time Man and they added Oil Man. But those are the only 2 instances in which they show up. They are never mentioned, talked about, referenced ever again. None of the Robot Master collections. Splice, you are ruining this for people. They cannot watch this while listening to us. It ruins the entire joke.
Well, weren't Time Man and Oil Man in the Archie comics, though?
They were in the Archie comics, yes.
I was gonna say, wasn't Oil Man a DOS robot?
No, that was actually he might have been. Now that
Sharkman was.
I have to look that up.
I'm gonna find DOS.
There could have been multiple,
They weren't the same robot. If they
Yeah.
were, they were completely.
multiple instances of the same name.
But they
'Cause
don't
the-
show up in any kind of like Robot Master collections. I mean, they didn't exist for that. We haven't even talked about Mega Man and Base, which has a refrigerator robot, which I didn't really realize he was a refrigerator, but now that I look at him again,
Does he
Wasn't
run?
that Aircon Man?
Cool Man.
Cool Man. Okay.
No, I think it's just Cold Man. I think it's Cold Man.
Yeah, Cold Man. Oh,
Does-
he's a. Really? He's a. Huh. I didn't think
It's
about
a
that.
refrigerator.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
So I don't know what game he's from, but I've heard this name once, and I've just remembered it always. Aircon Man, who came back in time to destroy the world, and also is an air conditioner. And I don't know what game that's from.
The Wonder Swan game. The looks of things.
Okay. So that is
Rockman
real. That
showing-
wasn't just like a joke.
Okay,
I feel like all the robots in Mega Man DOS have seen things that they regret.
Including Mega Man.
Rockman
Possibly
Shadow.
especially Mega Man.
Rockman Shadow is
Look at that. They're all awkwardly staring at each other.
doesn't
I don't
Yeah.
know about
what
you, but
game-
this is gameplay.
Sonic Man. Uh-oh, don't tell Sega.
Oh no, there's the whole Mega Man Sonic crossover. I was gonna bring it up because I was reading Clown Man's backstory on Fandom Wiki, and it said he debuted during the Worlds Collide crossover in Archie Comics.
Yeah, Rockman
we're-
and Bass.
If we're going to talk Rockman and Bass, we have to talk about Pirate Man. I think he's
Man's a
pretty
cool design. Although
I think he's got a
Rockman
pretty
and
cool
Bass.
looking design, and his weapon, the remote mine's pretty good too.
Rockman and Bass has a couple of cool designs. I like Burner Man. Burner Man's a pretty cool design.
Man, Splice, these videos are taking me back.
This is taking you back.
I told you I had Mega Man 3 on DOS.
Just handles, like just looking at it.
Oh, it was awful. It's just giving me a flashback.
It's not saying it was good memories, just they were memories.
Yeah.
It was a neutral statement. Sorry, I misread that. That's on me.
I have
You know,
never
this
played
is the
these
game
games.
that convinced me that you couldn't play video games on PC for several years.
And then there's the unknown robot master. Technically exists, but he doesn't. It was an early concept design that they never went with. But depending on who you ask, he is technically one of Light's robots. He just never shows up in any games. His name was Bond Man, and he was not James Bond. Before you go there,
It was glue.
Glue.
he was glue based. And some fan games have since incorporated him as a robot master. They've designed him and fleshed him out. But he's a known entity that does not exist and yet does in the hearts of the fans, simply because he was the first robot master that Inafune ever designed, and they just never went with him.
Gosh. Oh, I love Mega Man and Bass. Playing as Bass is just awesome.
Bass is the
I
dumbest
have-
robot, and I despise him with everything.
Dude, just him going through stages was just, his movement options were just so fun.
His helmet makes him unlovable. No one wants him.
That robot that you're looking at right there, Splice, is King,
Oh, okay.
and he just
did-
cut Proto Man in half.
I just liked that Bass could fire in multiple directions.
Yeah, he could fire multiple directions. He got a dash like Mega Man X, and he could double jump. He was
But he
just
couldn't
fun to
fire
go
and
through
move at the
levels.
same time.
What more could you want?
Because the way I kind of viewed it, it was easier to go through the stage as Bass, but it was easier to take out bosses as Mega Man, and I kind of liked that balance for this for that game.
There he is, the refrigerator.
Sure enough.
I like this stage. I don't know. I just really like this game in general. And yeah, I had to play it on an emulator because that was the only way to play it back in the day. I guess it did eventually get a release on the GBA,
Game Boy Advance port, yeah.
Yeah.
but
It's not available in any of the Legacy collections.
It's on the anniversary collection.
is
for
it
the
on the
GameCube.
anniversary for the PS2?
I don't know about I don't know. I think the
I mean, it
GameCube
should
one.
It's not on the it's not on the GameCube one.
Maybe it was the PS2 one then. Whichever one I have
Are you
had
sure?
it because I pointedly refused to play it. And I couldn't have refused to play it if it wasn't there. Let me see. I have it somewhere. Keep talking.
I feel like I have it somewhere too.
Let's see.
I mean, I
Release.
have the anniversary collection on the PS2.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, let me take a look. It was released for the Super Famicom on April 24th, 1998. It was re-released on the Game Boy Advance and the Wii U's Virtual Consoles. But according to the wiki, there are no other re-release reports.
Well,
Wait, it was on the Virtual Console? Dang it! It's too late for me to get
the
it
Game Boy.
now.
The Game Boy Advance version was available.
Oh,
on
the
Wii U
GBA
Virtual Console.
version.
this is an interesting boss fight with the thing going back and forth like that.
You might be thinking of the Mega Man Power Fighters, which was the arcade game.
No.
That was available
Yeah,
on
that's on the Anniversary
on
Collection.
the PlayStation on the Anniversary Collections. Both the Power Fighters and the Power Battle were both available. On
Yeah,
the
I don't think Mega Man and Bass was on the Anniversary Collection because I kind of
And-
remember being disappointed that it wasn't.
I think Mega
And
Man
Bass
Soccer
and
was
Turtle
also
Man.
on there.
I
Well,
think
there were
you
some.
saw it, man.
There were some uniques. One of the collections had Mega Man Battle and Chase. One of the collections had the first 2 episodes of the Ruby Spears cartoon, and one of the collections had an exclusive interview by some of the developers, if I'm remembering that correctly. But there were some exclusive. Things for each of the 3 collections for that era. On
It
the
was
PlayStation,
that
Xbox,
era
GameCube.
like that's sort of a more of a meta thing, but that era did that a lot where if something was
Soul
on
Calibur.
multiple things, they would make different versions of it.
Oh, true, like Soul Calibur 2, where the GameCube version had Link, but the PS2 version had a Tekken guy instead.
And then
The
Xbox
technical
had
guy.
Kratos or something.
No. It had didn't it have a Battletoad?
I don't think so.
No. One sec.
Was it Kratos? I don't know. What,
I swear
what
it was
in-
Kratos.
No, okay. You're talking about Shovel Knight?
No, we're talking about Soul Calibur.
Oh no, Battletoad was in Killer Instinct.
Oh, okay. What was it?
Spawn
It was Spawn.
It was
Okay.
it was Spawn and Link and
and
I swear-
I think
Heihachi.
Kratos was
Heihachi.
yeah, Kratos was oh yeah, it was Heihachi. Kratos I think,
Heihachi
did
on
show up in
PS2, Link on GameCube, Spawn on Xbox.
then they had Yoda on Xbox 360 and Darth Vader on the PlayStation 3 in a later version of the game.
That was like
Later
Caliber
sequel.
4, I want to say.
A Battletoad did show up, but no, the Shovel Knight even had unique for those 3 for the Wii U, for the Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. PlayStation, Kratos does show up. You fight him in Shovel
That's
Knight.
true. Yep.
In Xbox, you got the Battletoads. You hold like there were like 3 separate levels.
That's what the
that you-
Battletoads one was. Yeah.
And they were
Shovel
and
Knight.
they were the best. That was the best version of Shovel Knight. Nintendo kind of got shafted. He got an amiibo and he got some. And he actually got
multiplayer.
cooperative play.
Yeah,
he got
co-op play.
multiplayer. But I've never been able to take advantage of it because I have never known anyone who has Shovel Knight for the.
Well, the 3DS version actually had a multiplayer mode with Street Pass as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, this is what Soul Calibur Broken Destiny had Kratos. That's what I was thinking of.
Ah.
Apparently Soul Calibur 5 had Ezio? Did not know that. Anyway. Yeah.
But I think the Mega Man Anniversary Collection was the same on PS2 and GameCube, and it did not have Mega Man and Bass on it.
All I know is I
no,
hate
Mega Man and
I
Bass.
hate bass.
Not on the.
That said, what this guy is doing to this level with bass is absolutely broken.
Oh, gosh. Bass's movement is just awesome.
Well, it's like they combined the more fluid movements of the later games, but they still had the wall zips from the older games. You combine those together, and suddenly it's just. There isn't a level, there's more of a suggestion of a level.
Let's see. Oh, we haven't talked about Splash Woman yet. The only robot master that's a woman instead of a man.
Everyone was like, You can do that?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that's
robot mistress.
that totally you
I think
know.
that has different connotations.
But I don't know. She had a good level, good theme. Design was pretty cool too. Mermaid design.
It's at least a good play on the underwater robot master for the first time. Because we've never had... Like, the only other time they've been like a mythical creature was Centaur Man, which was just dumb. As someone
Another
who's a
poor
Mega Man
guide.
6 defender, even I think he's kind of stupid. No, it's one that's like, feels like you have some more, like you could just do that if you wanted to, but I don't know, they've just been reluctant for some reason. Doesn't make any sense because it's clearly popular. Mega Man artwork has been very limited to just dudes for the most part in role.
No, there are a couple other female robots.
In the mainline category?
Well, technically no, but they do exist, and in as much as they exist, the fandom will elevate them. There is Plum, who was one of the announcers for Mega Man Battle and Chase. There is, of course, Kalinka, although she's technically like a 10-year-old girl, so fan art can get pretty weird with that one. I mean, fan art can get weird anyway, because
Yeah,
Roll
it's
and
like,
Mega
I'm
Man
like,
are all
right,
modeled
that's
after
only there
8-year-old
that it gets
children.
weird.
Although in Mega Man 8, Roll doesn't look like she's modeled after an 8-year-old child.
No.
That's anime. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Although I do enjoy that, even though it only showed up in like 2 or 3 games, and only one of them was one of the mainline series, the Mega Man 8 look for Roll has become her de facto canonical adopted look. And that's my favorite look for her.
All I
They
know is
reverted
that
her back. They reverted her back to her red dress for 9 and 10, and then in 11 they tried to give her an updated look, and it's cute, but it's just not as iconic.
well, I just disappointed they've never given her vacuum gun hand.
Yeah, from the Ruby Spears cartoon. Also, speaking of Roll, what about the what was it? One of the Marvel versus Capcoms that had bad. No. It was Capcom versus. I think it was Street Fighter versus Tekken, actually. It had
Well,
bad
no,
box
there was-
art Mega Man, and it also
There-
had bad box art Roll as well.
Bad box art Mega Man was in the PlayStation. Basically,
Wasn't it Street Fighter?
the Sony Smash Brothers, wasn't it?
No,
No.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken featured bag box art Mega Man. Roll
Okay.
shows up.
In
Roll
his,
shows up, but
in his
only in the
victory,
cutscene.
yeah, in the cutscene when you beat the game, right?
And the thing about that is that was a shot across the nose of all Mega Man fans.
Yep.
Because leading up to that revelation, 3 Mega Man projects had been canceled in rapid succession. You had the
Yeah.
Taiwanese developed Mega Man Online. You had the full Mega Man Legends 3 game in development. And you had Mega Man Universe, which was essentially Super Mario Maker, but for Mega Man. And all 3 games were canceled like within the span of a year. And Mega Man fans were just absolutely livid with Capcom. And then Capcom comes out, oh, we've got something for you Mega Man fans. And they reveal bad box art Mega Man DLC for Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which was a game that was embroiled in controversy in its own right. But everyone was just like, this is just disrespectful. Wow, Capcom, really? This is what you do? Mega Man fans were absolutely pissed during that time period when that came out.
Oh, I remember. You were one of them.
I was one of them.
Wasn't that also like shortly before what was the distance between that and Mega Man getting announced in Smash?
Oh, there was some distance.
Okay. Yeah, there
let's
was.
see,
There
that
was
was 2012. Yeah, 2012 is when he was confirmed to appear as a DLC character in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah, I just remember because the Mega Man fan base was so low, and then he got announced for Smash, and it's like the entire fan base was just like, "See, it can be done. You can adapt him. It's just fine."
Oh yeah, Smash. I do feel like Smash is what taught them that look, he can have a 3D design and be loved.
I admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of his design in Smash 4.
Really? Oh, I was
Now,
blown away. I was so hot.
I understood why they did it. I understood it was an entire throwback to the NES era of Mega Man. That's the entire reason why he was designed the way he was designed. All his motions, his animations, everything about Mega Man and Smash is based on his NES sprite. For that, I can respect it. But
Well, like I love in Smash when
I
he
still
jumps,
prefer-
how he has the 8-bit pose. I love that so much.
Right, like I said, his running animation, his jumping animation, his shooting animation, even his throwing the metal blade animation, all his animations are based entirely around his 8-bit sprite animation and sprite work. So and I can see why Nintendo would want to throw back to that, because that is when Mega Man was at his peak, at least the classic version, on the NES. But I'm still more of a fan of his more official artwork and design and aesthetics than I am of that squat little robot. Although one thing that they did add is I do like how they made his arm cannon mechanical transaction. They added more mechanical animations to it. And they showcase this in his trailer, where each time he changes his weapon, there's like a mechanical change that takes place within his arms. And that was a neat aesthetic, because most of the time it's generally considered that Mega Man can just use matter energy conversion to transform his arm into a cannon. Although it does depend on any given animation. Some animations show it being where the hand kind of retracts into a cannon that forms around the wrist. So it all really depends on which animation you're looking at, but the general consensus is there's some kind of matter energy conversion going on there.
I do like the look more though for Smash, as far as how they do the hand stuff.
But no, when that trailer was revealed, it was a year after the Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I'm looking here, the trailer for Mega Man Wii U.
Dude, that
June 11th.
Dude, that Mega Man trailer was the trailer heard around the world for sure.
It was hype. Even.
I'd say it's the best Smash trailer they've ever done.
Without question. Without question. It's the only one that
takes
to
Mario's
rewatch
head
over
off.
and over.
How often do you see Nintendo put Mario in kind of...
Well, and the thing I like is they do such a good job with the musical cues for it as well. Where that's where it breaks into the Wily 2 music.
Although the trailer does lie to you. At no point in any game or match can you have two metal blades out at once. I know this well because Splice likes to steal them from me.
It's true. If I ever get a hold of a metal blade, the game stops being try to kill breakfast, and it's just keep it away from breakfast as long as I can.
Okay.
Because as long as that metal blade exists, I can't throw another one.
Okay, so
what if there are two Mega Men?
While Mega Man and Base is up, I do have to give a dishonorable mention to Magic Man, which is the clown man of this game.
Yes, it's a goofy design. It's one where it's like you see what he looks like in Battle Network, and you're like, wow, you've really improved on this.
You can't even try to understand?
It is literally just like the Clown Man stage, but magic cards instead.
But he's a Magic Man.
playing
answer your
cards,
earlier
not magic
question-
cards.
I appreciate
answer
what
your
you're
earlier
doing,
question,
Baggins.
It's one.
Thank you.
It's one metal blade per Mega Man. So if you have multiple Mega Man in a fight, yes, they each get their own metal blade.
No.
Although I am still wowed by the Captain Falcon reveal trailer for Wii U, because at that point I was terrified. That he
I think you
wasn't going
mean
to
the Lucina Robin reveal
No,
trailer.
No, it was the Captain Falcon reveal trailer. Thank you very much.
Gosh,
No one cares about the swordsman.
I was excited for Robin.
Falcon was hype.
Captain Falcon is the real Smash OC. Everyone else is just here.
He's more a Smash character than he is an F-Zero character these days.
Well, there is some truth to that. That's for sure.
I just love because for just Brett just over here going. It's like, see, it takes 3 Fire Emblem characters to match 1 Captain Falcon.
And one of them got punched right off the roster. 'Cause that's what happens. The trailer opens with an enormous explosion. Crob's sitting there on the ground, and Lucina's like, "Holy crap, this guy's powerful!"
That is one of I wish, and I understand why they didn't do this in Smash. I wish Mega Man Side B was basically Kirby's copy, but for Side B. I understand why they don't want to do that, because Kirby's existence just creates so much work for them.
Oh yeah.
And it's
It would require
multiplicative.
less work because there's no animation requirements. For
Yeah, you
Mega
don't have
Man.
to make brand new like sprites.
Yeah, but you have to create completely new animations for each and every attack. Cause like, how do you do like Donkey Kong Side B where he headbutts?
You just give Mega Man a comically large head and have him headbutt.
There
Or
would need
like
to be some sort of indicator as well as to what thing he's copying.
Wario Side B where he just gets the motorcycle.
I mean, Rouge or Rogue in the Capcom's Versus series, she didn't have any indicator as to what power she stole. She could literally steal Akuma's raging demon, and there would be no indication that she had it.
Yeah, but that's a one-on-one fighter. It's kind of
No,
implied.
Only initially. Later, no, it was a team battle. There were 2. And in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you had 3.
Even still, it's a fairly limited roster, so you know one of 3. All I'm saying is it would, because the side Bs are more animation intensive usually compared to the neutral Bs, it would be a lot of work in Smash anyway.
Probably.
But I would have liked that just because, it's the other character whose whole gimmick is copying other people's attacks. But
I mean, I'm happy with what they did. They just tried to throw in as many Robot Master attacks as they possibly could.
now, what's the
Mega Man is-
justification
Mega Man is one of the-
canonically for him not having those at the start of every game?
It's never canonically explained. Fans have developed their own theories as to why that is.
Like
The
what?
most popular ones are he either gets rid of them because he is a reluctant hero and doesn't want the power, so he throws them out himself, or they're actually a limited time power up that lasts as long as he needs them to finish the fight, but eventually they just
Except
kind of
for
fade and
Gutsman.
disappear on their own. Except for Gutsman, which was a permanent upgrade.
Are you sure it's not just he gets infected with the Metroid virus?
Does he just run out of ammo?
And they just can't
No, because
refill
you
it
can
ever
recharge
again?
the ammo.
Yes, the energy pickups
Software.
only apply to that one
No.
game, so
Downloads a
in-
software
in-
update that makes old ammo incompatible.
It's
Love the idea.
Planned
Because
obsolescence.
it's implied in Mega Man 1 that the weapons he collects are actual objects. Like he pulls a part
True.
off of the Robot Master's defeated body and incorporates it into his own. But in no other game, in every other game, he just kind of jumps in the air and light flashes, and suddenly now he has a power.
I thought he put
Mega
his
Man
hand
1
on
is the-
him and said, "Now I got your power."
That's true. I did see that somewhere.
In Mega Man 1, when you defeat a Robot Master, it actually drops something in and the level won't end until you collect it.
Okay, I know this is stupid. We're not talking about this, but the Mega Man, when he copied, I loved the little detail of him like thinking of a schematic. Like, and the schematic actually was kind of detailed for each Robot Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually was, and they only appeared for like a split second.
It was pretty impressive. But then the other thing I loved about it, I loved how every time he got their power, his version was always so much better. His version of Cutman's like little scissors like goes on an absolute rampage that just follows people for miles.
Well, yeah, it's true. Like, didn't Cutman, like, was he even able to throw it, or was it just stuck to his head? I can't remember in the cartoon.
Cutman didn't throw it; he shot it. Instead of pulling it
shot
off his head like he does in the games, he actually had a buster that shot cut blades.
And
So
for
he
some
didn't have
reason,
to
he
take
has an
it. Although-
accent.
Although there were moments where he did launch the one on his head at Mega Man, so it was very inconsistent.
I don't know. It was just one of those things. It's like, I really liked it. And then they just do something really stupid with it, too.
Then there's Pharaoh Man.
Yes, the only one who understands how to fight him. Punch him.
Copies Pharaoh Man's power. Now I've got your power, Mega Man, and Pharaoh Man just decks him across the face. He then immediately loses, but the clip is still funny.
Anyway.
I think
All right.
Pharaoh is a fan favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's got a unique design. And
Pharaoh Man is generally like it's one of the better designs.
Snake Man's one that he's got a weird design, but I actually really like the song, the level, and the power.
there is it's interesting. All the ones that are based on specific animals, it is so hit or miss with their designs, because you'll get a Snake Man but then you'll also get a Toad Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who's the counter to Sheep Man?
Cutman.
It's not an animal.
I'm not wrong though, am I?
Sheer Man. Yep, fair enough.
I know I'm forgetting one.
I think there's only the three.
I swear there's a fourth. I swear it.
I mean, Shade Man is kind of a bat, but
If you count Yokai, you got Tengu Man.
So you're
we
saying
don't have
that
Batman yet.
Wait.
there's probably rights
It
issues.
is a Batman, but yeah.
Well, they got Aquaman. Why would they have issues with Batman?
Fair
We don't have
enough.
Water Man yet. In fact,
I'm just
Water
watching
Oh,
is
this
generally
scene
the-
around.
Centaur Man. That was the other one I was thinking of. Centaur Man.
Centaur Man.
That's not an animal. That's a mythical creature. It's a different thing
Well, that
entirely.
would fit with Tengu Man and Shade Man, and yeah.
So the animal ones you're saying are sheep, toad, and snake?
Yeah. Oh, and Hornet.
Ah,
Hornet.
yes, Hornet.
I guess there is
Right,
Hornet
right.
Man.
With one of the
Although
better.
Hornet Man was initially. Hornet Man was the initial woman design. It wasn't going to be Splash
Really?
Woman. It was going to be.
Yep,
It was going to be
be.
Trident. It was going to be Trident Man and Vespa Woman.
Yeah,
Or
or
Honey Woman.
Queen, Honey Queen, or
No, it was just Honey Woman.
Honey Woman.
So Hornet Man was actually going to be a Queen Bee character, and they swapped it during development.
Well, I thought,
Makes
yeah,
sense.
an Ocean Man instead of Splash Woman.
Ocean Man.
Is it Ocean? I thought it was Trident Man.
I read it earlier
Ocean.
today. It was Ocean Man.
Ocean Man, won't you take me by the hand?
So yeah, we almost got a Queen Bee robot.
But what
master.
about What
Yeah,
about
you're right,
Particle
Honey
Man?
Woman.
What about Particle Man?
What about
We
him?
don't know where Particle Man is.
Okay,
about
Triangle
Triangle
Man?
Man?
Dang it, beat me to it.
He hates Particle Man.
You have the built-in weaknesses already done.
Yep. All we need now is Person Man. There we go.
We need. They might
is
be
that
giants
just
to
Mega Man?
sponsor a fan
And
game.
Universe Man.
In Universe Man.
Man.
There is a Spaceman, right? Or
There's a couple.
Galaxy Man? Galaxy Man.
I think his name is Spiff.
No, there's Galaxy Man in 9. There's Astro Man in Mega Man and Base in 8. And there's Dynamo Man, who's kind of spacey because he's got a large helmet.
And Gravity Man. And
Gravity
Star Man.
Star Man.
Gravity Man has a fun level. I'm always a sucker for changing gravity dynamics in games. I don't know why. I just am. Anyway. All right, we've been going for a while. The point is, Robot Masters are awesome, usually. And then sometimes they're weird because that well has it's been mined a few times. Don't focus on the fact that I mixed
Mega Man-
metaphors.
And Mega Man fans like to design their own.
It's a good aesthetic. It's a really
It's a
good
good
aesthetic.
pattern that fans can pick up on.
And as long as you can draw the ring and middle finger together, you can do it too.
Yep.
Which I never did.
Well, that's why you didn't complete your game, clearly.
Clearly, yes.
That must be the reason. All right. So why don't we go through and just talk about where people can find you? Start with Mithril.
Sure, youtube.com/MythosZenith have content mostly on Fire Emblem from a top-down design perspective and analyzing various aspects of player psychology as well. Have a video coming up relating to the types of engagement of different Fire Emblem games as they relate to the 5 player types from Magic the Gathering. Timmy, Johnny, Spike, Vorthos, Mel.
I've only ever heard of the first 3. I didn't know about the other 2.
So the other 2 were later inventions about a year or 2 after that initial article. So the initial article was 2013. That article was like 2015. It's basically Vorthos is like a lore head, and Mel wants to really know how everything works. Not like Johnny, who's interested in making the combos, but someone who's just like, no, the fundamental mechanics of it all.
Okay. All right. Lunasar, do you have anything you want to promote?
I guess Lizzie's stream, which should be back online. I don't know if next week, if nothing else. Yeah. So yeah, and that's at Lizzie Petrichor on Twitch. Yeah.
Really should say that without a question mark.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Baggins, do you want to promote anything?
The Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. It's a podcast that I'm on with Splice and another friend of ours named Amy. We talk about Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novels. We'll branch out and we'll talk about specific books, character review studies. We'll look deep into individual scenes. We'll do all sorts of stuff. Our most recent episode actually featured someone who was not me because I was out of town, but it was a cool discussion. So definitely go check that out.
All right. Breakfast? Any fan projects or?
I got nothing.
All right. Perfect.
Go watch
Play-
Lizzie.
Play Mega Man.
Indeed. And then you can find me twitch.tv/splicestream. We're going to be doing next week. We're going to do some Jackbox games on Tuesday. So show up for that.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
I think we over.